and welcome back. There's lipstick on my teeth, I can feel it. Hello and welcome back to Dead Dad's Kitchen. My name is Irene Walton and I am your host and the creator of Dead Dad's Kitchen. Let's get started, it's November.
Well, they say he's not coming back and nothing can fill the void, but at least we can try with food. I'll make some apple pie, come on in. It's Dead Dad's Kitchen.
So in this bowl, I have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. What we're gonna be making today are just some really fun, easy appetizers with something that we call a rough puff. It sounds very cute, and it's sort of what I like to think I am. I'm like a little puff, but I'm a little rough around the edges. The thing about this that's so cool, we call it a rough puff because it's basically like a faux lamination, which I realize are just two other words that might not make sense to a new baker. A laminated dough is something like a Danish or a croissant. These really, it seems like there's a million layers of pastry in there, and they rip apart and they kind of shatter and they're just so beautiful and gorgeous. That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's 1,000% worth it. It's become one of my favorite things to do in the kitchen, honestly, because it's one of those just like tremendously accomplished feelings that you get at the end of it. Like when you make a croissant and you've made a croissant, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe these two hands did that. But it can take a lot of time, and sometimes you just wanna make a really fun appetizer or a really simple little, just a little like treat to have like for when friends come over, an hors d'oeuvre of sorts. That's where the rough puff comes in. So puff pastry is that laminated, beautiful dough. A rough puff is basically like a really foldy pie dough. A pie dough, also a good one, I think, has a lot of delicious layers in it as well. And so this is gonna do that, except even more. As you could imagine, a lot of fun little appetizers could come from that. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna do one sweet appetizer and one savory appetizer. And I might mess around with some stuff in between just because we're gonna have the dough, so why not? We're gonna do a brie and prosciutto little puff pastry, and we're also going to do a cream cheese and raspberry puff pastry. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. I have already cubed my butter up. I like to cut it into cubes just like this. So they are tiny little cubes. What happens is I'll take this stick and I'll place the stick up and I'll cut down lengthwise, I'll cut down the other way lengthwise, and then I'll chop it into little cubes. So that is how I get my butter cubes. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to toss these in. I'm gonna separate them and toss them in. I have these already cut up and in the freezer because it is so important, you guys, to have your butter be cold for things like this. When it comes to lamination and layers and things like that, the reason that you're gonna see in so many recipes, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mention, I'm using Erin McDowell's rough puff recipe. She's an incredible baker. If you guys are not already following her and using her recipes, please do. She's such an inspiration to me. So I'm using her recipe. And as you can see, this is just dotting in there. I'm literally taking a chunk, throwing it in. That's all we're doing right now. So the reason it's so important to keep your butter cold and keep your ingredients cold with something like this is because the magic of those puffs that we want so badly, that we're taking all this time to create, the magic of them is happening when the cold butter hits the hot oven. So butter is actually water and it's butter. It's an emulsification. It's water and it's butter. It's water and it's milk fat. So it's emulsified to stay together. With puff pastry, what we're doing is we're incorporating our butter into our flour, our dry mixture, so that when we do put it in the oven, the heat from the oven is going to evaporate the water that's in the butter and just leave the milk fat. So it leaves a little space in between. So that's where we get our layers from. It makes a little pocket, and then the butter remnants that are left over, the milk fat, is what makes it so very delicious. I'm gonna get you guys close up in here so you can see exactly what I'm doing, because what I'm gonna do is just squish my little butter pieces, they're real cold, so that they are shards. They're nice big shards, and they are covered completely with our flour. There's already flour in my hair. I mean, what was I thinking doing this with my hair down? That's silly. And with long sleeves? Irene, come on, get it together. I have transferred my cut-in butter and dry ingredients to the freezer for just a second while I talk to you guys and remind you, if you don't have the time, or if you don't want to, or if it's just not your vibe to make the pastry, by all means, go get puff pastry from the store. I just think it's fun to be in the kitchen. It doesn't matter if every single thing that you bought is from a box mix or from the frozen section. None of that matters. What matters is that you're in the kitchen cooking for somebody that you love, be it yourself or someone else, or both. Why not? So much better. So what I want to let you know is that I have some ice cold water right over here. Promise, there's ice in it and it's freezing. There's condensation. There you go. I have this ready because we are going to be incorporating that into our dry mixture in just a moment. You're also going to want to use a bench scraper so we can scoop everything together. This is well, I stole this one from my last job. They're usually like $1 or so. We want a nice, well, you can't see it. We want to have a nice clean work surface so that we can be doing all of this stuff. We're gonna use 1/3 cup measure and a tablespoon for our ice water. I have my little flour sifter here that I love. But if you guys don't have one of those, you can just throw some flour right onto your bench. No problem at all. Now let's go. No! Okay. Okay. Some of it's fine. Some of it's not. So, alrighty. Okay. Okay. Home cooking. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna get upset because that won't do anything. We are gonna clean it up and start all over again. Woo! Not all of it fell, which is fantastic news. A little more flour. See, everything's fine. I probably lost maybe that much flour. And let's get some more butter. See, I even kept my butter knife out. I knew something was gonna happen. I mean, let's just do half a stick. Maybe I lost half a stick. See, we're basically fine again. We're gonna cut this in super quickly because there's literally no problem. I don't know what you think happened, but it didn't. Let's put it in the freezer for just another moment, maybe safer. I'm gonna need to Swiffer this later, but that's a problem for off-camera Irene. I'm gonna portion out some plastic wrap for myself so that I don't have to deal with it later. There's one piece. Let's do another piece. Now, we're gonna pull this out safely. Okay. Woo! Easy. Now we're gonna make a well in the center, sort of like with pasta, and we're gonna add 1/3 cup of our ice water into there. I also am not gonna add any ice in, just the water. That's a mistake I have made before. And what I'm doing here is I'm just kind of tossing this. So I'm not mixing it just yet. I'm just letting that water be a part of our little bowl of ingredients right now. It's still way too dry. With 1 tablespoon at a time, I'm going to, and that's why we kept those chunks of butter so big so that we could mess with it a little bit and it's not gonna really break up our butter too much when we're needing to bring it together here. Do you know what I mean? And I like to just sort of sprinkle it in. So I just wanted to give y'all a close-up of this kneading motion, trying to get the butter incorporated. And I also wanted to show you this really, really cool trick. If you have a patch of dry ingredients that simply will not incorporate, remove the part that is fully incorporated together and then just add the tiniest bit of water to whatever dry ingredients are left over so that it forms its own little dough ball, and then you can combine the two. Sometimes these pieces just get a little stubborn and it's fine. You just do the same thing in mini format, put that all together, and then you can divide your dough into 2 pieces that we're gonna wrap in plastic. And oh my gosh, you guys, look at these butter chunks. Can you believe it? This is what you want it to look like, staying together but still scrappy. Look at all the butter, oh my God. Okay, so now that that is in the fridge resting after quite a few inconveniences, we're okay, everything's great. I'm gonna see you guys in like 30 minutes when we start to roll that out. So So we've been waiting a little over 30 minutes to take our pie crust or rough puff, whatever we want to call it, out of the fridge. So here's where our second part of creating all of these beautiful layers comes up. We're gonna save this so we can put our dough back in here, but we're going to plop this out. Oh yeah, it feels nice and hydrated. Just giving it a nice dusting so there's no sticking. We're also gonna dust our pin. And I like to give it a couple of taps first so that I can sort of see what we're working with. I'll also dust these sides just to be safe. I'm gonna flip it again, and now we can start to roll it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll it to about 1/2 of an inch thickness. Then we're going to turn it onto itself. And that's gonna be like our lamination process. Let's see, this is just about 1/2 of an inch. So we're gonna fold it, just kind of knock it together, and then we're going to fold it again. I like to make sure it's sort of in just a uniform shape. I'll smash it together a little bit. And so we have our quartered dough. Gonna put that right back in. Cover that up. And we're gonna do the same thing with this other piece. We're gonna do that same thing 3 more times with each of those. So there's going to be 16 folds all together. So we're gonna have so many layers. It's gonna be so great. Then we're gonna be able to make our little treats. And I'm very excited. We're supposed to let it rest like after the last fold for longer, just so it can really hydrate, really kind of have time to rest. So I wanted to make sure I gave that its due diligence. Now I did look up some cute, fun ways to cut this puff pastry up and mess with it a little and just like see what the vibe is. So we're gonna put a couple of things in here. We're gonna put a couple of things just on a little baking dish. We're gonna see what happens. Oh, the person who I looked up a couple ideas from was I actually know her. She's my friend Honeysuckle on YouTube. She's amazing. Definitely check her out. This is where I got some of the ideas that I hadn't thought of. So thank you, girly. Couldn't tell you if this cheese is still good. I'm just excited. I love little puff pastry things. Now I'm definitely gonna make it a lot thinner than it was in the past folds that we've done, because now we're actually working with it. Could I have worn a worse shirt for this episode? No. Now, what I'm liking about this dough is it is really soft and really, I don't want to say flat, but like smooth. Smooth is the word. So our oven has just preheated to 425 degrees, and that's what all of these little guys are gonna bake at. I'm kind of going off of just like store-bought puff pastry that I've worked with in the past, and like how thin that was and what that looked like. So bear with me. Oh, maybe, was I supposed to like get my toppings and stuff ready? Probably. I feel like that's a good size, right? And you guys, please, again, remember, I know I said these were easy, and realistically, it is easy. All we've been doing is rolling and turning, but yes, they do take a bit of time. We are on our 5th hour. Absolutely feel free to just get puff pastry from the store and let these little appetizer-y ideas just be inspiration. That would be great. Mama, if I can get you in the kitchen at all, that's all I'm looking for. Oh, I'm already stressed. I can already feel my hands are trying to go in a way that I'm nervous. Okay, you can eat the rind on brie, right? I think so. So we're just gonna get a couple little brie chunks. Come on, it's like a race against the clock. Because if this butter melts, after all of the work I've put into it not melting, I'm gonna be livid. There we go. Got some prosciutto. We'll give this one more. It'll roll out. Oh my God, is it sticking? Oh my God. Don't you dare. I'm gonna wipe the extra flour off of here. This is kind of a square. Let's do like that and that. Let's do this. Here's what we're doing. I'm taking this little guy and I'm putting it just like this. Call me crazy, I'm feeling confident. Okay, let's do our brie ones first. So we've got a little chunk of brie in each of the bottom, a little prosciutto on top of each, and then we'll cover it with, oh my God, it's fine. I feel like I've been chopped. So there's some, I should have done this before. This was stupid of me. We're gonna do a dollop. And we're also gonna do a little raspberry on some of these. Okay, or so much raspberry on just one of them. Okay, it's simply been too long, so I'm gonna put these in. We're gonna check on those in just a couple minutes, but they should be in there for like 10 minutes total, 15 total, 12 total, who knows? I sure don't. Okay, we're gonna do just like a little marinara because I still have this carbone marinara that's open. So let's do that. Oh God, is it moldy? Is that mold or is that seasoning? Or is there a difference? No, that was an olive, we're fine. I should have left like a little border. That would have been smart. Oh well, okay, 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 okay. Whoa, okay. I'm not mad at this. The pinwheels aren't quite pinwheeling as much as I would like. I will scoop whatever this is right onto there. Perfect. Excited to see what happens there. I'm gonna clean up the absolute ridiculousness that I've just created, and I will be right back. I may have taken them out a touch too soon, but I wanted to see them. And, oh, okay, these I think are ready finally. I should have greased the cup. Yeah, it definitely could be way browner. Could you? Oh my gosh, okay. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at it. How many layers? A billion? I could have cooked them a little longer. I now know what kind of shape. I don't think I'm gonna use that little muffin tin because this puffs up so much, which is not a bad thing. But I think that they just need to be like maneuvered more so that I can put more filling in them. Are these ones ready to eat, do you think? I feel like no. I mean, this looks like a Pillsbury something or other. Ow. Oh, the pinwheels are good. So basically, if the question is, did the lamination work? The answer is, oh my God. So I do see all the issues and they were all my fault, which is not surprising. I know what I'm gonna do for next time for each of these, and I actually froze the other half of my dough. This was just one half, one of the pieces that we split. I'm very curious to see how it freezes. Because if it freezes well, I could see myself making like 10 batches of this and just using it throughout the holiday season as needed. And then you don't have to do all of the work, you know? We're gonna do a part 2 of this, where I show you how the frozen rough puff works out. And we're gonna rework some of these, but I'm so excited about this. Thank you guys for being here on this journey with me, trying to figure out if this is going to be my new holiday, I was gonna say Hollywood staple. My new holiday staple, maybe it's a Hollywood staple. I live here, great. Oh, I'm over the moon. We're gonna have so much fun with this recipe. I can't wait to hear what you guys think would be good to put on this puff pastry. Please leave that in the comments down below. I'm so excited. Maybe we'll do some of your ideas in the next video. Please make sure you check out my Patreon. It is only $2 to join. That's our lowest tier. They go up from there, but it's definitely a pretty low barrier to entry. Even if you guys just go onto my Patreon site and check it out, that means a lot to me too. And you know, also a bunch of free stuff you could do. You can like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. I make 2 videos a week, 1 podcast and 1 cooking video, and I have the best time doing it. I'm so grateful to get to. So thank you guys for being here for that. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.